Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. My guest today is Christy B. Wright. Christy Wright is the creator of Business Boutique, a certified business coach, and a Ramsey Personality with a passion for equipping women with the knowledge and steps they need to successfully run and grow a business. Since joining Ramsey Solutions in 2009, she has spoken to thousands across the country at women's conferences, national business conferences, Fortune 500 companies, and her own sold-out live events. She is the host of the Business Boutique podcast, and her new book, Business Boutique, released April 2017. You can follow Wright on Twitter and Instagram at Christy B. Wright and online at ChristyWright.com or Facebook.com/official Christy Wright. Welcome, Christy, to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been diving into your book and really enjoying that. And I'm on your Business Boutique online. You have this all set up for all of us women out there. And I took your quiz. And so today, because I took your quiz and it said, I was great with the marketing. I was great with, the sales. And I can't remember what the other one was, but what I needed to work on, I was in the middle to high, not to high, but like kind of average range, was time management.
Yeah, that's a struggle.
Time management and organization of the business. So today, because of you, because of that, I said, how can I manage my time better to get everything done that I want to do today? So thus, I'm getting ready for a competition. I have to be drinking my water, so it's right here.
Yep.
I can't miss my window. My hair is braided because that was quick and easy. I have an appointment right after. And there you go. How do you manage your time and get everything in? Because you are one busy lady.
It's a great question. I'll tell you, I don't get everything in, but I'm very strategic about getting the most important things in. So as tactical and simple as it sounds, I live and die by my calendar. So if it's not on my calendar, it will not happen. But if it's important to me, it makes it on the calendar. And I think that a lot of times we, as busy people, whether you're a man or woman, it doesn't matter. We tend to glamorize this idea of things that are important to us. Like, oh, these things are so important. Quality times with my kids or working out or self-care or going on date nights. But those things don't make it on the calendar. What's on the calendar are volunteering and all these obligations and responsibilities and PTA. Now, if that's the most important thing, that's great. But when your calendar doesn't match what you care about, you're going to be frustrated because you're always feeling like, man, I never have time. But you really do have time. You're just spending it on the wrong things. And so I've gotten to a place where I am very, very, very careful about how I protect my calendar and what I say yes to and what I say no to. I'll give you a really practical example, Lisa, that just happened literally 2 minutes before we went live with you. I was talking to Mackenzie, who does all of my publicity, and I was like, hey, did you get that thing I sent you about reviewing that book and submitting that review and da-da-da? And she goes, yeah. And I said, do you think it'd be a good fit? Do you think it's a good audience? And did you vet it and make sure it's like, worth my time? And she goes, yeah. She goes, it looks good. Do you want to do it? And I said, no. And she said, okay, great. So let's not do it. And I was like, good point. So it's so simple. And oftentimes I think we are constantly trying to think like, well, am I available? Can I squeeze this in? And we don't ask ourselves the simple question, do I want to do that? And aside from taxes and feeding our babies, there's not a lot of things in life we have to do. And we say that we have to do this and we have to do that, but you don't. What you really have to do are the basics. But other than that, it's a choice. It's our choice to clean our house or not. It's our choice to sign up for the PTA or volunteer or say yes to that project or not. And we're in control of our life and our time. So I've just gotten to a place where I'm super protective over it. But as you can tell from that example, it's something I still need help and accountability with because I want to say yes. I want to say yes to everything, but I can't. So I have to say yes to the right things.
Well, I love that because just actually today I was saying no to something because I thought about it long and hard. And it reminded me of something that I gave up that was just draining my energy that I didn't want to do anymore. And then my life was so much better. And I was like doing things like podcasting, things I wanted to do. And so I thought, all right, I think I'm going to say no to this because I just don't want to do it. I don't
Right.
want to
That's
do
right.
it. Yeah.
That's right. And guess what? It's your life and your time. You don't just have the right to say no. You have the responsibility to say no because, like I tell people all the time, if you don't protect what matters to you, if you don't protect your time, no one can do that for you. And so that's a great example that you have of learning that and living that out.
Yeah, because time is one resource you can't get back.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Well, I want to dive a little bit into your story because I loved your story about your mom and just how you grew up. I really identified with that, and I like how it's made you into the woman you are today. You dedicated your book, Business Boutique, to your mom, Darlene. Can you tell us the role she played in who you are today?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think obviously mothers are just such a huge part of a family. Like they're kind of the glue that holds the family together, regardless of what the family dynamics are. However, in my scenario, I was an only child and she was a single mom. So it was just us. There were no siblings. There was no dad in the picture in that way in our home. And so for my relationship with my mom, we were more like sisters or best friends than mother and daughter because we were so close. We were together 24/7 and we did everything together. She shaped my whole childhood. She shaped my idea and view of what normal is. When you're a child, like the only frame of reference you have are your parents. And so for us, normal was going to the cake shop, going to her small business that she started when I was 6 months old. So that was normal. And I grew up kind of in the bakery. So I had this front row seat to not only see a business and customers, crazy customers, normal customers, all the customers, employees, normal employees, crazy employees, like all the dynamics of a business. I saw that firsthand from like a little age, whenever I was a little bitty. So I'm observing the dynamics of what's going on, but I also watched my mom and I watched how she handled those customers and handled those employees and handled those situations. And when things went wrong, which they often did, how she handled those problems and struggles and challenges. And so what's so cool is my mom, she was never a homeschool teacher. I was in public school. She was never an intentional parent, if you know what I mean by that. Like she didn't have schedules and budgets and activities and plans and strategies like most parents do today. She didn't read parenting books. She didn't sit me down and teach me about God or values she didn't do any of that stuff, but she lived it right there in front of
me.
The
example,
and,
the living, breathing example.
And that is what made me who I am. So because she lived those qualities, I live them now as well. And I learned them by watching her and by being in the struggle with her. So I think, parents can teach their kids about perseverance, for example, but there's nothing that will teach perseverance like being on the side of the road at 10 o'clock at night and it's pouring down rain and you get a flat tire. How do you handle that situation? Well, the child picks up on how you handle it. And if they're in the struggle with you, like I was in the struggle with her, because it was always just her and I, then you develop those qualities in a totally different level. It's not a hypothetical, oh, sure, I would persevere if things were hard. It's like, I've lived hard and I have persevered from the time that I was a little bitty. And so those character qualities have stuck with me to this day. And it's so important for me to not only instill those qualities in my children, but to come around women and lock arms with women and say, here's how we can apply this to your business and your life and your parenting of who God made us to be, but who I think my mom shaped me to be as well.
I love the story about her taking you to the bakery. Can you give everybody just a glimpse into that and how you would kind of sleep? Like it would be like early.
It was every day. Yeah, totally. It was every day. I mean, we went to the bakery at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning. I have countless stories. She would make me a bed on the 50-pound bags of powdered sugar and flour, like put blankets on them, and I'd go back to sleep there until it was time to go to school. There was a little upstairs apartment in one of her locations. She had lots of locations from moves. There's a little upstairs apartment where I could play and stay. Her delivery van did not have seats in the back. She was always delivering cakes. So like on road trips, we'd, lay down sleeping bags and drive down to Florida if we were going on vacation. I definitely hung out with her employees more than I spent time with my own friends because I was just in the bakery. Sometimes I'd answer phones. I'd do deliveries on foot, around downtown Nashville, and she'd let me keep the tips. And I learned early on which button on the cash register opened the cash drawer, which was fun because I would just take out money and go down to the arcade, and her bookkeeper hated me because the cash never balanced. But it was just real life. It was real life of running a business and having a child in the business. And she constantly felt like she was harming me or failing me. Like, what harm am I doing that I'm pulling my daughter out of bed at 2 a.m, my 8-year-old daughter? And I know so many women that I work with in Business Boutique, they have the same fear, regardless of the business or whether their child's in the business or not. They feel like, am I harming my child? What damage am I doing? And what I remind women again and again is you're not harming your children. You're helping them when you work hard. And you're giving them some invaluable experiences. By the way, it was fun. Like it was crazy, but it was fun. I have so many fond memories because again, that was my normal. Normal for me was not some Pinterest perfect, seersucker, monogrammed matching outfits childhood. I didn't even know that existed because I was too busy playing with icing and sprinkles. Like that was my normal, and it was pretty great.
I love that. It's not what you have, but it's what you do with it. And she's a prime example. Your mom, Darlene, is just a prime example of being a great parent. And she just did the best with what she had. And
Absolutely.
And you knew she loves you. And even with my children, I was raising them because I had a very bad situation. I had to leave. And I was taking care of them, and I was the fitness director at a YWCA, and I would take my children, and I would have overnights for all the kids.
Yep.
And I would take them, and they would be part of all my Friday night outs, is what I called it.
Yep.
Kids could come while parents went out and had a date or something.
Yep.
And so those are some of our fondest memories. It was hard times.
Right.
I mean, it was hard times. I had to leave a very abusive marriage, and here I was. At my mom's because it was the safest place for us. Right. And we were in one bedroom for a while. And, right. I'm telling you, it's just those times that I look back at that were like precious.
And they probably loved it. They probably loved being all in one bedroom where you feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, but that's what they love the most. And, I think as women, a lot of times, especially this generation of parents, there's this pressure to have it look and act a certain way. But what's so funny is the things that we get so upset about or worry about, the kids actually don't care about at all. So like I had a friend telling me about how she was all worked up because she sent her son to football practice in the wrong pants. Like they were supposed to wear white and she sent him in gray and she was all worked up. She sent him in the wrong pants. She's such a bad mom. I was like, if we're honest, like Lisa, if we're honest, a lot of times that need to have everything perfect. And your example obviously is different because that's an extreme example. Mine is extreme in growing up in the cake shop. But just even the moms out there that are feeling like a bad mom because they sent their kids to school with the wrong football pants. That is about us. It's not about our kids. Like if we actually thought about our kids don't care. Right. They don't care what color their pants are. They'd prefer to wear no pants. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's just such grace. There's grace for mamas. I believe God has a special grace for women that are doing the best they can with what they have, whether it's something as simple as they packed peanuts in the nut-free classroom, because I've done that.
Yeah.
Or on the opposite extreme of my mom feeling like she's trying to survive with the baby in downtown Nashville at 2 a.m, or you making the best decision you can to get out and do what's best for your family at your mom's, like making it work, coming up Friday nights out, like all these, like you are your kid's hero, and nothing in the world can take that away. In fact, what you've done for them, the struggle, like they will see that. And it will be the struggle that, I say this all the time, it will be the struggle that makes them. Not they made it despite the struggle, they make it because of the struggle. And that's certainly been my story. And I'm sure will be true for your kids as well, Lisa. Like there's a special grace for mamas.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all now college graduates and all doing like amazing. And, the other thing is, you think you have to buy them like, the most expensive toys, Johnny and Susie have their iPad and,
right.
All of that. But, my dad used to say, shoot, when they might just enjoy playing with that box like just as much, or creating something, or he would have like sock fights with them, like they blow up these socks and they he'd be hiding behind the couch and he'd be shooting it up. So I just think it's the time that you spend and it's the love that you bring that makes the difference. So
I totally agree. And I will say that if you're tired, like mamas that are tired, it takes energy to be creative. So I get it. Like it's a lot easier to plop your kid in front of an iPad than it is to come up with a sock game, because the sock game takes mental energy. The creativity takes energy. But if you will just give yourself 2 minutes to think of something creative, get a cup of coffee, take whatever you need, take a walk around the block, something to be creative, those moments are not only more affordable, to your point, but they're more fun. They're more memorable. Like the other day, my boys got home and my son Conley, who's 18 months old, 20 months old, he loves to pull the mixing bowls out of the cabinet and just make lots of noise. That's his favorite thing to do. So I said, here we go. We're going to do mixing bowl kitchen races. Here we go. Carter, you're in the green bowl. Conley, you're in the red bowl. And I'm like pushing him through the kitchen, scooting him along in mixing bowls. And we did mixing bowl Olympics for like 30 minutes. And it was so fun and so funny. But that takes creativity. Like the sock games, the mixing bowl games, that takes creativity. So for mamas to just know, yes, if you want to put your kid in front of the TV, sometimes that's fine. But take the time to be creative and come up with those silly things. Those will be the things they remember. They will not remember
absolutely
the Neverland Pirates or Daniel Tiger. They will remember the mixing bowl races and the sock fights.
That's so true. That's what they're going to remember the most. So switching subjects just a little, Dave Ramsey is a name I know because my husband constantly quotes him.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to be completely debt-free here really soon.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Awesome. You got to come to Nashville and do your debt-free ice cream.
And done paying for college and all of it.
All the things, yes.
And I was just curious, how did you end up joining Ramsey Solutions? And what role did you play in the beginning leading up to where you are today?
Well, it's a crazy story. So, Lisa, speaking of YWCA, I worked for the YMCA for 3 years, and it was right out of college. I was an aquatic director and then a district aquatic director. Was my role and the season that I was in. I was with a startup at first because it was a brand new location in Bellevue, and then I moved to I was there for 2 years, and then I moved to Donaldson across town the year after they had a drowning, and they basically brought me in to clean house, improve the program because it was just a disaster. So it was both scenarios were incredibly stressful. I worked 80 hours a week easily every single week. I had no life, and that was what I was there to do. It was awesome for that season, but like many people, I burned out. Like I was just like, I'm done. This season is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I remember very distinctly, and this sounds crazy, Lisa, but I'm just going to tell you, this is my story. I'm sticking to it. I was sitting on my deck one day out in Mount Juliet by the Donaldson Y where I was working at the time. And I knew I was ready to leave. Like I wanted to leave in the next couple months. I was going to make it through the summer, which would have been 1 full year. And I was like, okay, God, I was like, I love that we change lives. I love that we do work that matters. I love that we make a difference in people's lives. It's not just a job and collecting a paycheck. Like I wanted to do work that I really believed in. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever find a company I believe in as much as the why. And God said to me, I heard the words in my head, you are going to work for Dave Ramsey. And I thought, fantastic. Who is Dave Ramsey? I have no idea who Dave Ramsey is. So I walked over to my computer that was open on my table out on the deck, and I Googled Dave Ramsey, and it said based in Nashville, Tennessee. And I thought, fantastic. I don't have to move. I'm here in Nashville. And so that kind of started me. And then I called my best friend, Jenny. She was my very best friend. And she knew I'd been like searching and thinking about what I wanted to do. I was ready to leave the Y. And she picked up and she was at work. And she said, Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, this is Jenny. I said, I know who I'm going to work for. And she said, who? I said, Dave Ramsey. And she said, I knew you were going to say that. We've never talked about Dave Ramsey in our lives. Like, I didn't even know who Dave Ramsey was. So it was just such a God thing. And then I
love that.
I guess in that month, I looked at open positions, applied for a position as a youth product developer. And I developed programs at the Y for youth and teens. And so I was just going to, kind of make that be my end of if I can do programs, I can do products. And so I went through the interview process and got the job. And so I started out in our youth and teen publishing department, creating products like our Kids Piggy Bank and our Bible study Generation Change and Graduate Survival Guide. All those projects were projects I worked on back in 2009 when I started.
Wow, that really gave me the chills when you were telling me how you just heard an audible. I hear them a lot, actually.
Like you just hear the words. Like it's not like I hear the sound.
No, you don't hear the sound, but you hear it.
Yeah,
like it's you recognize it because it's not your voice.
No, I don't know who Dave Ramsey is.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I had Tim's story on the podcast, and I was saying that I would hear. He was having fun with it. He's like, I don't hear an audible, Linda.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really interesting. I love how you just stepped into that and started living your dreams. I mean, this is just amazing. I'm going to hold your book up in a little bit so everybody can see it. How do we give ourselves permission to step into our dreams and get the guts to go after them?
Yeah, I love that question. I think everyone's struggle is different. So I think what you need will be different. If you're so busy doing everything for everyone else, then what you might need is time. You might need to cut out some things to give yourself the time where you can even see that that's possible to step in your dreams. And dreams take work. They take time.
Yes.
And so if you're super busy, maybe what you need is some free time. You need to clear out some time. I remember my senior year of college. This is another God moment, but in my senior year of college, my plate was so full. I was involved in everything. I was president, member, participant of every club, sorority, all the things. And I had a mentor, Jana, who mentored me. And she said, your plate is so full. I just wonder if you cleared your plate, what God would put on it. And it was like saying, like, there's no room for God to bring me anything new because my plate is so full. So if you're that woman, if your plate is so full, then you will not be able to work on your dreams because you don't have any time. So it means saying no to something to say yes to that thing. If you are someone, for example, you have a different struggle. Maybe your struggle is just fear. You're like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if, who are you to do this? I'm not cut out for this. Other people do it better. Other people are smarter. I'm not business minded. Then what you might need is just some inspiration and encouragement. You need someone to speak truth into you. You need someone to hold your hand and walk alongside you. I dropped off my son this morning for summer camp at a new school, and I literally was dropping him off right before I came here. And he has been to school for 2 years at a different school, but this was a new school. And so what he needed was just a little encouragement. So I walked him in and I went to his classroom and I sat on the floor and I pulled out some dump trucks and I introduced him to some, oh, this is Wesley. Oh, this is Lane. Oh, look at this guy, And so I'm talking, I'm encouraging, you're going to have so much fun. And this is your teacher and here's what you're going to do. And you can do this and you are brave and you are smart. And I encouraged him. I spent 20 minutes. Now on Thursday, when I drop him off, I'm going to drop him off at the door and say, bye, bud, see ya. And it's easier for him. But it's new and scary at first, and it's really not that different in business. If something's new and scary, you might just need a friend or some encouragement for someone to come alongside you and hold your hand and walk you in the door and introduce the other kids in the dump trucks to you until you're comfortable. And I know that sounds silly, but Lisa, you're familiar with the Business Boutique podcast and our events and book. That's what I'm all about. Like, that's exactly what I do. I'm like, you can do this. And here's why I know you can do this. And here's what God says about your gifts. And here's, you just need that encouragement and that inspiration while you're a little shaky at first. So I think really what you need to chase your dreams, to get permission, as you asked, depends on what you're struggling with. I think everyone struggles with different things. And so what you need to help you get there may be different depending on the person.
I think too, a lot of times when a change is coming and the dream is actually there, like you said, we get afraid, but we want to hold on to stuff that we need to let go of. Right, and that letting go process is a big part of moving forward into this new dream. Because, right, you have to clear your plate some.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to make room for it. Margin,
you have to make room for it. Yeah. Make room for what you want. Make room for your dreams.
That's right.
Or you're not going to have them. You have to make room for them. Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. Why is telling or learning how to tell our story so important in reaching the right people the right way?
Well, I think there's two components to that question. So being able to tell your story and being able to tell the story of your business is the most important aspect of marketing, because products don't sell, services don't sell, the story sells. You've got to be able to sell the story, because that's how human beings' brains are wired. We're wired for story. And there's fascinating research on this. That's the reason I spend the majority of my speaking on stage telling stories, because that's what
you were in with me like Flynn.
That's what your brain understands. And so you're not, it's not a manipulative marketing technique. What it really is you're speaking the language that your customers are speaking. You're using the language their brain understands.
Yeah, related to you more.
Right, exactly. They'll relate more. They're more engaged. They remember more. They lean in. They're more interested. They trust you more. They like you more. I could go on and on. But the story is the most important aspect of your marketing. So I think that is that piece in terms of just best business practices that will work. But telling your story is really important, because you want people to connect with you. And we live in a world where you, as the personal brand, as the face of your business, have an opportunity to set yourself apart as unique and to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. So even adding your component to it, we say all the time, brands don't change people. People change people. And so you have an opportunity as the face of your business and as the the face of this brand to connect with people on a much more personal level than any logo would, of just a generic brand name. So yeah, it's really important. It's a great opportunity for you. I tell people all the time, we constantly focus on our flaws in business. Oh, I'm not this or this or this. It's like, yes, you have flaws. Yes, there are things wrong that you can improve on and so on. But you need to keep in mind the problem with your business is you. You do need to fix things, but the best part of your business is you. It's not like you have nothing to offer. You have these incredible strengths, and that is your unique position. So just remembering that there's no one that can do what you can do like you can do it. And so having confidence and pride in that as you kind of take your brand out into the marketplace.
How do you silence the voice of fear in your head and the what ifs that we say? I know we all say them in some way or another, and here's just a few that I thought of. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if I'm not ready? What if it's terrible? What if I'm gone too much away from my family? How do we silence the fear? That's pretty much fear, right?
It is, and it's interesting. I'll give you a quick answer because I've got to run to a meeting after this, but I do want to let you know that the best thing you can do to silence the fear is to do the thing. Nothing will make the voice of fear shut up like doing the thing. But another reminder is all those what ifs, which we all have them, at least we all have them. All of those what ifs is simply using your imagination in the wrong way. Because what you're doing is imagining the worst, but instead you can choose to imagine them. What if it's awesome? What if everyone loves me? What if this thing takes off and I help so many people and make so much money? What if? Either scenario is a hypothetical. Either scenario requires your imagination. So I would just encourage the people that are listening and watching to use your imagination in the other way. But regardless of what mind tricks you play or how you control your thoughts, nothing will silence your fear like doing the thing. If there's a quote, I can't remember who it's by. This is terrible. It's a great quote. It says, if the voice of fear says you cannot paint, then by all means paint. And that voice of fear will be silenced. So whatever that voice is saying to you that you cannot do, you cannot walk on the stage, you cannot post the video, you cannot start that business, then by all means, walk on the stage, post the video, and start that business. And that voice of fear will be silenced.
What are 3 simple truths you can leave with the audience today?
Do it scared. That's the most important thing, that the fear will never lessen. You just have to do it scared. Have community. There's nothing like locking arms with someone. The business world can be lonely sometimes. So have a friend, have some encouragement, have someone that is with you in it. And then I would just make sure that you are allowing the right people to speak into you. There's a lot of mixed messages in the marketplace. There's a lot of influencers and experts. Make sure that who you're following and who you're allowing to have space in your mind are the right people, the people that are telling you the truth of what I believe God says about you and what opportunity you have. Because if not, it can lead you astray. And you just want to make sure that you're allowing the right people to shape you and mold you.
Where can everybody find your book, Business Boutique?
Yeah, anywhere books are sold. Amazon, certainly, DaveRamsey.com, businessboutique.com. Yeah, and it's your plan. So you're familiar with it, Lisa, but cover to cover, it's a step-by-step plan for your business. And at the end of each chapter, there's even action items where you fill out the blank and you kind of have worksheets, and it becomes something that you keep with you. I don't want it to be put on the shelf and collect dust and be ignored. It's something you refer to again and again as you update your plan for your business. So it's been really fun to see how it's helping people.
Wow, and I'm really enjoying the book. I'm really enjoying the Business Boutique, you guys. It's really well put together, and it's a community of women. And I don't know, is it just all women?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was making sure I'm right about that. I don't want to misquote. All right, I only saw women, so I just was assuming. So, and I've seen them reaching out, so I'm really enjoying that, and the book is amazing. Christy, of course, is the bomb. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really enjoy your story and how real you are, and just your whole motivated attitude. It's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thanks, everybody, for listening to the Sisterhood of Sweat.